Hi, this is Justin from Money Bootcamp. Today's video is on the perils of early success. So often when I'm talking to financial planning clients or prospective clients who have had an early win, I have them say, "What do you mean? I'm not a genius?" This really comes down to early success being both a blessing and a curse. When I meet people who've had success early on, be it with their career, with the income they're able to earn, or if they've made a successful investment or two, I often have to warn that maybe they've actually just been lucky rather than them being an absolute genius and doing exactly the right thing at the perfect time, which is why they got whatever the big win they got was. Basically, if you are successful once, that could just be luck. If you're successful twice, that could be skill. And 3 times could be because you're an absolute genius. Or maybe not, maybe actually all 3 times were complete chance and you were just lucky 3 times in a row. So many people that have very early success in their career, where they come out of school or college and within 1 to 3 years they stumble into a very high paying job, or people who make an investment that does really well initially. So say people who bought Bitcoin in 2015, 2016, and then were absolutely loaded because Bitcoin shot up in the summer of 2017. Many people in these situations will have something like that happen and they will just think they're an absolute genius and that they could do the same thing over and over and go from strength to strength. The problem with this is that you often think when this happens to you that it's nothing to do with timing, it's nothing to do with luck, and that it's not at all that you were just in the right place at the right time. The problem is that it's hard to tell at the time when it's you. So in hindsight, you're going to know, you're going to have 10, 20 years of what's happened in the past and say, actually, I did it multiple times over and over. I'm just really good at this thing. But when it is early in your career or early in your investing and you've had some success, you don't have the opportunity to know were you just lucky and you were in the right place at the right time, or if in fact it was actually all your skill. So with this, there are 2 really important things to do. One is to embrace the blessing of it. So you found yourself in a position where you have got yourself a really big income, or you have turned a small investment into a very large investment in a short amount of time. So you need to make sure you get the benefit from this, and that if things go to hell and it turns around, that you're going to be fine. So if you can, make sure you tuck some money away, be that putting money into savings. If you want to, buy a small house or apartment so that if all of this goes away, you're still going to have somewhere to live, that you might be able to put away a few years of expenses or even just a few months of expenses. And then you could even invest in other areas. Basically what you want to do here is set yourself up for success, even if what you're doing and what you've done doesn't continue into the future. If you have landed this great success and you have skyrocketed from the start, treat yourself like a star athlete who may only have 1, 2 or 3 years at a really high level of earning. And then with that idea, you can say, right, I need to put my investing into this time. So if you were to look at yourself as a star athlete and say, maybe I only have a 2-3 year career, you would be putting money aside into investments that will support you afterward. What will happen here is if your success doesn't continue, you're going to have a great platform to figure out what else you're going to do going into the future. And if it does continue, you're going to be in a great place anyway. By embracing the blessing, you are going to use the great position you have now to ensure you have a great position into the future. The second part of this is to avoid the curse. So like I said, it's a blessing and a curse. You have been successful in something, be it your career or an investment you made, and you got a really quick win. So you need to make sure that you don't have the downsides or the potential downsides of this work against you. If you have had a big investment win, you want to diversify. So if you invest in a company and their share price multiplies by 100 in the next year, you want to make sure at some point you actually sell some of that and move it into other areas, so that if that company then goes away or completely shuts down, that you're going to have other investments and other income. If you have a big win from doing something, you need to make sure that you get some of that and you put it in an area that is not correlated to where you've got your win so far. This same idea carries across to your income. So if you work in software or programming and you have found yourself in a really high paying job in a fast growing tech company, you don't want to invest in tech companies. You want to put your money into safe, boring, old world companies that are doing things that are completely unrelated to the job where you're earning this income. So if you start working on an oil field and you're making great money, you don't want to be investing in residential real estate near the oil field, so that if something happens in the world of oil, you're going to be out of a job, but then your investment is going to be lower valued because everyone else in the area is also going to be out of a job. What you want to do here is build assets to ensure your income, so that if your income goes away all of a sudden, you're still going to be able to pull an income from your assets, or you're going to be able to sell some of these assets that you've built up that are not related to the other area you've made your money in. There are other ways to insure from downsides as well. So if you're in an area that is really highly valued right now and there's not enough people with your skill, make sure you're staying up to date and putting time into improving your skills, as well as just giving what the market wants now. That ensures you future-proof yourself so that you don't get left behind in 2 or 3 years when the market has moved on and you were too busy to learn at the time. A great idea to think about when it comes to these things is the old fable of this too shall pass. So if you have landed in a great position now with whatever has happened in your life, remember that this too shall pass, and you need to make sure that whatever comes next, you're ready for it. So if you can, take advantage of the situation you're in now, and then try and ensure any of the risks and pitfalls that could happen, that you have done something to avoid them ruining your current situation. This has been a Personal Finance Friday question from Money Bootcamp. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share with anyone you think will find it helpful. Money Bootcamp, learn money, live better.